A violent prisoner was taken to another prison where he could be placed under high security in another area. His eyes were blindfolded with a piece of black cloth and taken away on a rainy day. Since the prisoner was blindfolded, he could not see anything around him until he entered the prison cage. The prison officer pushed the inmate to a more secure cage and left. He was put in a dark cell made of huge stones according to an old house design. He started thinking about the remaining 7 days of his life. "How is my friend?" suddenly heard a person talking. "It is none other than the person in the other cell," he asked with love. The new prisoner's heart felt that harsh male voice like a dewdrop that rarely falls on a desert. So these two prisoners got into a conversation. After this brief conversation, the two of them forged an unexpected bond before the break of dawn. As the night unfolded, they shared candid details about the events of their lives. "You know, I'm in the cell called W101, remarked the old prisoner. "It has a tiny window, so I can barely see things outside, but don't worry, I'll fill you in on all the details about the outside. You won't miss a thing," assured the seasoned inmate to the newcomer. "That's a great idea, my friend. I've been locked up in dark cells like this for 10 years because they've labeled me as a terrible person by law, so I haven't seen what's happening outside for a long time. I even forgot what color the sky is now," the new prisoner said, sharing tears. He mentioned that he only had 7 days of his life left. He fell asleep that night, thinking he would spend the remaining 7 days in newfound happiness. The next morning, he woke up, and the old prisoner in the other room told the new prisoner something beautiful that he could see through a small hole in his cell. "Friend, it is almost 7 in the morning. Little children dressed in white go to school with their mothers. A father is riding a motorbike with his 3 children. Meanwhile, 2 small children are fighting. I think they fight for a mango. Yes, I think it's for a mango." The old prisoner began to narrate everything that could be seen through the small hole in a way that created pictures in the mind. The new prisoner, who was going to die in a few days, had nothing left to do. So he closed his eyes and enjoyed the scenes with passion. That night he asked the old prisoner, "Friend, what do you see now?" The moonlight spread throughout the whole province. The light of the heart that had fallen on the distant mountain ranges resembled a beautiful painting. The prisoner began to describe the surrounding environment very beautifully, and the new prisoner listened to those descriptions eagerly. Two or 3 days passed, but he didn't feel the passage of time. He thought that he had the opportunity to enjoy many things throughout his life. Hey, friend. There's a little rain outside. A young couple walks in love under a light blue umbrella. I can see it clearly. The girl is wearing a white and yellow dress. Because of that, she is as beautiful as a flower. The boy seems to love that beautiful girl very much. I was also in love with someone like that when I was young, but I don't know where she is now. Another day, the old prisoner began to tell more beautiful things from what he saw. He had an amazing ability to explain these things. Because of his continuous explanation of the things that happened throughout the day, 5 days went by without knowing. The new prisoner now knows that he will die in 2 days, but he hard to understand. His mind is so relaxed now. Instead of pain and fear, he now has only lightness like the wind. So, he is not afraid of death now. Another day later in the morning, he was ready to leave this world. But he did not hear a word from the old prisoner who was in the next cell for the whole 5th day. So he asked the prison officer about it. Sorry to say that, he was hanged this morning. The prison officer said it in a sad tone, but he didn't say anything about that. The new prisoner talked. Can you at least put me in the cell he was in? He humbly made a request to the prison officials. He told me that W-01 prison cell has a window. So I didn't feel time passing. He helped me to live with a restful mind. What he said gave me great strength. When he said such things, tears started falling from the prison officer. Why are you crying, officer? The officer started answering like this. He is a blind prisoner. His eyes have not been seen for 10 months now. Besides, there is no window like you mentioned in that room. That room is the darkest and dirtiest cell in the entire prison. He lied to you. He lied to all those who were brought to this cell, and he made them rest their minds, jailer said. The new prisoner fell to the ground, as he could not imagine this. He began to imagine in his mind what the face of the strange friend who had only befriended in a deep voice would be like. Nothing else crossed his mind, and he felt strongly that he was a god among men. But why did he do that? The novice prisoner thinks alone. There are very few people like this in this world. They try to spread happiness to others by keeping the sadness inside themselves. They are like trees. It absorbs the bad things in the environment and distributes the good things. This story shows that no matter how much pressure or sadness one is under, instead of embarrassing someone else because of that, instead of spending time thinking about those things, it is very good to work for the good of another person's mental state. No matter how much pressure you are under, try not to make it a reason to make someone else sad. Be kind to everyone at all times, no matter how much pressure you are under. It is a very good human virtue. I hope you find valuable insights and inspiration from this video. Whether it's learning a new skill, gaining a fresh perspective, or finding motivation, my goal is to provide something meaningful for you. Enjoy the content, and I look forward to hearing your thoughts and takeaways.